aware, Brother Senjedi Ankh will continue the study of etymology and Egyptian hieroglyphs today. And it's an honor to have him here, a young brother who's very diligent in his studies, disciplined. And he and Kemetu have been developing a close bond as they talk very frequently on the phone. All right, so without further ado, I present to you today our guest speaker at the etymology class at Temple University Pan-African Studies Community Education Program. Next week is in that last class. We have Kemetu, Etymology, and Paralegal Studies Part 4. All right, without further ado, Kemetu, Senjedi Ankh.
All right, thank you, Abdullah, for that. All right, well, first I'd like to, give reverence and honor to the Netcher, all right, to the Most High, Allah, various names, and we want to give homage to the ancestors, John G. Jackson, John Henry Clark. Do we have any other names?
Dr. Benny, even though he's not an ancestor yet, but he's near it.
Yeah. All right, everyone that has come before and has, Ivan Van Sertima, Asa Hilliard, Noble Jew Ali, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, yeah, everyone who's come before us, all right, and teaching and left their mark. Also want to give homage to the elders who are still with us, across the board, various types of teachings, doctrines, etc., all for the purpose of uplifting our people.
True.
All right, and pay homage to all the women and children who are with us, the divine feminine principle that we always have to acknowledge so that we can balance the super masculine energy that's going on the planet currently, and give homage to ourselves, the divine that's within. Pay homage to all of you. All right. So thank you for having me here, Senjedi Ankh. All right, now, in our studies, studying the Bible, studying history, etc., a problem that we come across is mistaking mythology for historical events. Okay. All right, and when we go to the people whom we're getting this information from, there's a lot of misnomers, there's a lot of misinterpretations, etc. So we're going to seek to touch on correcting some of these things and give you reference so that you can go do some research for yourself. All right. Now, as far as biblical studies, we start off with the Old Testament, or the Torah or Tanakh, and the people that are referred to as Israel, Israelites, etc., or Hebrews. However, when you look in the historical records, you don't find it. All right, other than what's in the Bible. All right, that poses a problem. That actually shows that there's some inconsistencies there. However, you do find records of Hebrews and Israelites, but not in the same light as what is perpetuated through popular media, be it through religious settings, TV, movies, etc. So we all heard about Israelites, correct? Okay. Now, the only record in history of Israelites is from the Stela of Merneptah. Okay? Merneptah, has anyone heard of him? No. Merneptah, okay, you have Ramesu, all right, second. He has a son named Merneptah. Okay? This is his successor. Now, around this time, around 1200 BC, to give you the date, Merneptah fought against a coalition of people coming from an area that's typically known as Western Asia. Okay? Now, by this time, mind you, this is the 19th dynasty. Okay? Mind you, they had already been fighting people that we refer to as Western Asians, all right, at this time. Now, you have something called the Stela of Merneptah, okay? A stela is a slab rock like this with writing on it, okay? This is where they get the whole tombstone shape from, all right, from a stela. right? And then we go to a museum with Kemetic artifacts, you may see this shape artifact with writing, glyphs, and pictures on it. So this is where they get the tombstone shape from, and the concept of an obituary, all right, from a stela. Now, on the stela of Merneptah, which on the internet they say the stela of Israel, which is a misnomer. The only reason they call it this, can you see? Okay, the only reason they call it the Israelite stela is because this is the only historical artifact that names anything close to Israelite. Okay? Now, let's see if we go off of memory here.
Now, question,
Hold on,
that whole breakdown that you did on the board from Senjedi, would you consider that this is the portion of history that they take and they insert it in what we call the Old Testament?
Yes. In fact, yeah, that's actually the direction that we're going for.
All right.
Yep. Okay, now, this is an approximation, but it's saying the same thing. Now, these are the glyphs that are used on this stela here, okay? Can you see? Okay. This is a Y, or it is, yes. Two I's are, yes. Yisrael, okay? That's what's on the stela of Merneptah, not the Israelite stela, okay? Now, this glyph here is a boomerang, or a throw stick, okay? Now, when you think of a boomerang, what do you think about? Something, okay, what else? It's something that you throw it out, right? Okay, something that goes away from you, right? All right. Or simply a stick. In fact, I've seen in some African cultures where their weapon, they have a stick similar to the shape, and they throw it at you. It may have a blade on it too, okay? So this is commanded, that's the African connection, because it's an African civilization. So it's a throw stick, something that goes away from you, all right? Now, man and a woman, the 3 strokes makes it plural, okay? The throw stick denotes a foreign people, okay? Now, these people are nomads. They are not a nation. They don't have a nationality at all, okay? Because if they did, okay, they may have this glyph, which are mountains, which, in other words, connects you to a land, all right? So in the Merneptah stela, that's all it has. It doesn't have this, okay? These are like mountains or hills, showing that if this determinative is with a name of people, that means that they're connected to that land, all right? And you have to have land, flag, all those things for nationality, is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, but it doesn't. They're nomads, all right? But now see, this kind of tells you something, because when you go to the Old Testament, the Old Testament, what is the lifestyle of the Israelites?
Nomadic.
Nomadic. It goes here, all right?
Just one, 2 R's, but I see different symbols.
You see 2 different symbols? Where?
Both R's, but the symbol on top of it.
Oh, okay, no, this is the arrangement of the glyphs. This is like a Y or Y sound, and that's the R. It's just the arrangement of the glyphs. Okay. I'm sorry? Okay. All right, so this is Yis, right, ear. All right. Mind you, an R is exchanged with the L, okay? Because even in other African languages, an R is rolled, okay? So depending on when one word goes to another language, all right, whether they retain the tongue movements on the palate, they may soften it and it becomes an L, okay? So and before it'd be Yisrael. And then when it goes to another language, it would say Yisrael. See? Goes into that. So later on, it'll become the L to become that. Okay? So now these people, the Yisrael, were named among other groups, okay, from the land of Canaan or Canaan, all right? Not just there, but in other groups who banded together against Kemet, all right? Merneptah defeated them. And what it says of these people on the stela, it says, and Yisrael is barren of seed. It is no more. All right? In other words, he's saying that I wiped them out about this time. Okay? So looking at the record, you know, I will question, you know, some of our Hebrew Israelite brothers, because if the whole army was wiped out, you know, give or take, I don't think he killed the women and children. Okay, let's say they left them at home. But the people who are virtually like wiped out from existence in battle, how is it that that every person who is melanated on the planet is a Hebrew Israelite? If here, almost 3,000 years ago, they were virtually wiped out. You know, does that make sense as far as a question? On the record, Merneptah said he wiped them out. But then, you know, we have some of our brothers saying that, you know, all of us over here, Cuba, Haiti, Africa, everyone is one of those tribes of Hebrew Israelite, but they're wiped out. That's what the record shows. So that there's a conflict of historical record and mythology. Okay? Now, we have another group of people referred to as Shasu. Okay? Who came out of the Sinai. Let me shut down the glyphs there. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. This term Shasu were pastoral nomads, okay? Living in, some of them were in the Sinai and adjacent areas. Now this term Shasu is another term used for nomads, okay? Mind you, you have the root of this is Shas, okay? Shas is the root of it. And the glyph for Shas is, what does that look like? Take a guess. Feet walking. There you go. All right. I'm sorry, here you go. The root word of Shasu, here. Here's Shas, the root word, and then as a noun, you have Shasu. The root, one of the determinative glyph is that. Okay? Which are feet walking. All right? Shas is a term meaning like on foot. All right? Nomads. Something I found interesting was in Sudan, you have this. I'll show you these glyphs here. Ta. Ah. All right. This is ta, one word. What does this say? Who said it? Shasu. Good. Okay. H. What's that sound like? Say it a little louder. Okay. Okay. These inscriptions come from a temple of Amun in present-day Sudan. Okay. Out of the temple of Amun. And present-day Soleb, Sudan. Pardon my handwriting, I hope you can read it. All right. Okay, so land, Shasu of Yahweh. Okay. Now, there may be people out there, who may say, "Oh, wow, see, look, it proves that, Yahweh was really there." Okay. However, historical record shows that this deity was presided over nomads. Okay? Temple of Amun, Soleb, Sudan. Okay? Unfortunately, when you go to the actual records, Yahweh was not a deity over all melanated people. Okay? It was a tribal deity over nomads. Okay? Now, these Shasu were also people who tried to invade Kemet, whom Seti I, the second king of the 19th dynasty, fought against. Okay? Because they are part of the band of people who attempted to invade Kemet, rape, pillage, and take over. All right, so as far as, now, if you want to use it, that's fine, but, in our search for getting actual historical information, I think that we should take these things into consideration. But again, to each their own. All right. Are there any questions about these glyphs before we go on? What are your thoughts? Yes? This is from the Temple of Amun in Soleb, Sudan. Okay? So, just type that up and you'll find it.
Apart from temple of all that you did before, and it's like contact stuff. Yeah, what do you think those?
Oh, as far as the Stela Merneptah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, did you write the name down?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you just go on the internet, just type that up. The actual picture of the Stela, you'll find it. And then it'll give you the translation and the inscriptions. The Stela of, here's. Pardon? Before the Common Era. Okay? Okay? The Stela Merneptah. Did someone over here had a question? No? All right, now, let's go a little bit more into some of the biblical names. All right, something that just happened to come across. Let's go into the New Testament. Someone name some of the disciples. Matthew, Mark, Luke. How about Peter? Peter? Okay. Now, does everybody have what they need from here? Everybody have it, sir? Okay. All right. Now, Peter, what are some of the stories, not stories, but what is his position? Is he guards the gate of heaven, is that correct? St. Peter, right? Okay. Now, you good? Okay. Now, if you have any more questions about this, we can revisit this. All right. Now, Peter guards the gate in heaven, right? All right. Now, something I just happened to come across, and I didn't actually get this from anybody else. I just came across it. Well, I was looking through some glyphs, and I found this. as you can see, these are eyes. This is a P, this is a T. These goes here is a er or So this is Peter. All right? Now, of course, you could say, okay, well, anybody can get the sound, right? Anybody could do that. However, this arrangement is a region of heaven. So I was like, oh, wait a minute, okay. It's not, because I don't really believe in coincidences. And then came across another one, which is this. Same glass. All right, this is, whoops. This is a hawk on a standard, okay? When you see a hawk on a standard, it denotes divinity, okay? What people may call God or whatever, but this is divinity. So this here is Peter, and what they're saying is it's a sky god, okay? So I'm like, wow, there's no coincidence. Like, how do you feel about that? Does that look like there's a connection there? All right.
Well, not only that, it shows a connection too, Senjedi, but it also shows you that you can see where Judaism and Christianity come from.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what you're seeing.
Okay. Does everybody have that? Okay. I'll tell you, I love our stuff. The more you learn, the more you figure out that you don't know. The more you learn, you get to the next thing and wow, I really don't know much. Now, of course, this right here is something that I came across, but I'm still doing research. Don't know everything, but just a little bit. So everybody have that down? All right. Again, if you have a question about it, we can revisit it. All right. I also found something on Muhammad, too. We'll get that one. All right, now, for those who were not here last semester, all right, let's go into Jesus Christ, okay? Christ, what does this term mean? Like anointed, right? All right. Now, Christ comes from Christos. I'm just writing all capitals. Okay, that's the Greek that says Christos. Okay. No, Christus, excuse me. Comes from Christus. Upsilon. Yep, upsilon. This comes from Christos. All right. Now, in the dictionary, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's one in here, but even when you look it up, it'll stop at Greek. I promise you. Okay. It'll stop at the Greek. Abbreviation is GR. Is that correct? When you look in the dictionary.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, Latin. Now, they like to stop here. Because they may not want to tell you that a word may come from Sanskrit. They don't want to tell you that it comes from Kemetic or a black language, so to speak. So, upon further study, found out that this term comes from Kore, which is actually, take a guess, Kemetic. So let's go over here. Glyphs for this. Kores. Now, here's the determinative. All right. This is a man who was mummified. He's wrapped. So either you'll see it in this fashion, or you may see it where the man is laying down. Typically, you see it laying down. Okay. Maybe on the bed, like that. This is the K or the Q. That's the R. That's the S. All right. Now you might say, well, you know, it sounds the same. Doesn't really mean anything. Well, the term is, on the surface, one who is anointed and prepared for burial. Okay? Koras is the root term. Now, in an esoteric sense, all right, when you reach the higher state of enlightenment, all right, you are anointed, okay? You die to your older self, and you are reborn, all right? This is not something that is limited to one person, which is what Eurocentrism will have you do, okay? Separating yourself from the karas that is within, or the higher self, all right? So, kind of connect this with even the Holy Quran 7, speak about Yeshua reaching the state of Christ, is that right? Which is the 7th level, is that right? 7th level. So there is illustrating that this is a higher level of consciousness through rites of initiation, all right, through the temples and the pyramids, okay? So all of you have the potential to become a karas, all right? Now, when you go to the New Testament, you have Lazarus, right, who had died, and then you have Yeshua. He comes to the tomb and he says, "Come forth, Lazarus, come forth." Yes. All right. That comes from Kemetic ritual. Okay. Does everybody have this right here? All right. So what we went through before, Lazarus. Okay. Split this up. L is a terminal, meaning like the. Okay. You know, like in we're going to touch on that on the so-called Semitic languages, like L, Al. We put that in front of a word. Okay. So, L, Azar. Then you have us. Okay. Now, Azar is Asar. Okay, or Osiris. Okay. So here's the glyphs for it. Okay. Asar. Us. Or it could be as. All right. That's the glyph. This is a man with his finger to his mouth, okay? Calling out, okay? Us. This is the us. So it's saying the Asar called forth, is what he said. It's a Kemetic ritual, all right? So when you pass your test and dying to the older self, and you are reborn, all right? Because Haru is Asar, reborn. So in the Christian doctrine, everyone becomes reborn, okay? After baptism, which is an African practice, not a Christian practice, okay? After you've gone through rites of passages, etc., you become reborn and you become a Karasit. So this person, Lazarus, became a Christ also, because he passed initiation. He was in the tomb, all right? So, no, he was not dead physically, all right? You're going through the process, like, you know, if you're in the darkness, you know, and you're locked in the darkness, what goes through your head? You got all kind of things that go through your mind, all right? You have fear, you have the demons inside that you have to face, all right, in the night. And then in the morning, you arise victorious, okay? So when you came out the tomb, he came out into the light, all right? And he was the Christ. That brings us to Christ always having a sun behind his head, okay? And many of the Necharu, or the divinities, such as Ra, Ra, Atun, Aten, Heru, various deities, you see a sun on top of their head. When it came to Christianity, they took it and put it behind the head. When you go into Buddhism, you see, well, it's not on top, it's behind his head, Buddha, behind his head, referring to enlightenment. Okay? Why do you think they were saying enlightenment? Light of consciousness. Okay? And the only light of the world is the sun, moon, and the stars. That's the light of the world. The sun is the light of the world. Everything after that is symbolism. Okay? Religion is based on sun, moon, and stars. Astrotheology. Okay? So all of our stories revolve around these things. So when we're children, you learn them in story form. When you become an adult, you're supposed to learn the meanings behind it. However, there's too many of it in our communities, we don't get the science behind it, which is what you're supposed to get when you become an adult. Okay? For example, now I'm 29 years old. I still shouldn't be believing that somebody raised out of the dead from rigor mortis. Okay? Now, I said that, pardon me? Yeah, right now I'm 29. At this age, I should not be believing that someone who has gone through the process of rigor mortis, okay, which is the breaking down process within the body, came back to life, okay? Or someone who was totally decomposed, rising back up, okay? No. Or Santa Claus and all that. You're too old for that. You should be getting the science right here, okay? So I encourage people to take that home, or believing that your teacher is inside of a spaceship, okay? Now, personally, I would take that more so as symbolism. Now, if you're saying that the spiritual body of light, okay, for example, here. In Kemet, you have the spiritual body of light, referred to as the Ahu. Okay, this is Akh. Okay, some people pronounce it as the Ku. I know in Sarset Society they use this term, Ku. Others say Akh. Others say Aku. All right. I haven't gotten other pronunciations because I haven't looked at the pronunciations of this term, saying Bantu or Congo terms. All right. But this is the glyphs here. Now, this is the spiritual body. Hold up. I forgot something. Yeah. Of light. That's the sun with the sun rays coming down. So if you look at you might look at movies where a person's spirit may pass out of their body and it's like a light. They're giving you the science, okay? The spiritual body of light. So if you're saying that the person is within this spiritual body of light that travels out the body and you're describing this as a spaceship, okay, fine. That's just your way of giving symbolism. But if you're an adult and you believe that literally, there's a problem, okay? Or somebody is inherently have like multiple extraterrestrials inside of the body, but yet can't do certain things. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But, understand symbolism and not taking it totally literal. When you do, there's a conflict of reality, okay? You have to learn the symbolism, okay? No, there was not a man who walked on water literally. Now, if you can find someone who could do that, cool. I was on the phone on a radio show, and brought up a point. Well, if a person is inside of a ship or can do these miraculous things like walk through walls and all that, how does that benefit you? I would say, okay, this person extraterrestrial. Okay, so what? What does that do? When the ships were coming over or when we were abused, where were the spaceships? So, we're shooting each other, all that stuff, but that's me personally. Now, do you have any questions about some of these glyphs, or we went through so far for me to the next section? Okay. All right. All right, the term Hebrew. Let's go into the Hebrews. Now, where does the term Hebrew come from? We won't get to the Semitic thing. To break it down. This term Hebrew is rooted in a term Eber. Is that correct? Eber meaning to cross over, right? To cross over. Now, mythologically, no, you don't find Hebrews, but you find something else. Now, in the vowel shifts and consonantal shifts, B and a P are interchangeable. Is that correct?
True.
Okay. Now, there's a Kemetic term, aper. Okay? Or, let me see, aper, which is another term for nomad. Got a lot of different terms for it. Now, look at the lifestyle of the so-called Hebrews. Nomadic, correct? Now, you could say, well, that's just a coincidence. There's no real connection. However, and when you go into the books of Joshua, look into, Deuteronomy, when the Hebrews were attacking the Canaanites and destroying their cities. It's very similar to the account you find in what's called the Amarna letters. I do encourage everyone to look at this. All right. Amarna letters. The Amarna letters are letter correspondences between one of the kingdoms in Western Asia, all right, or in Canaan, let's say, with 18th dynasty kings, one between Queen Tia, Akhenaten, okay, the kings in Western Asia or in Canaan. Now, these vassal kings in Canaan were asking Tia and especially Akhenaten, can you please send the army? Because the Aper Hebrew, the Aperu, are destroying our cities, raping our women, and taking over. Okay? Can you send the army? Of course, Akhenaten seems to have ignored this. All right? So when you go into other records and you look about who these people are, the Aperu, they're described not as God's chosen people. They're described as one, nomad, warmongers, thieves, people who fight on both sides of an army. People without any nationality. What other words can you? Bums. People living on outskirts of civilization who don't have any place to settle, but think about gangs. Think about gangs who are always fighting each other. This is what you have, okay? Another way you could connect it with these people, one of Akhenaten's officials, because he liked to put foreign people in his council. One of his right-hand men was Aperel. Okay? And he's a foreigner coming from the Canaan area. All right? Now that area, many of us do use the term Phoenicia. Everybody have this? Anybody need that? Still writing? Okay, all right. Maybe use the term Phoenicia. However, yeah, it does take us to a point, but it only takes us to a point because we know that that's a term that the Greeks, that they used, all right? But now we're getting more information to use it as supplementary information from one step to the other. That area, retinue, they call it retinue. And in studying some of the languages for like Mbochi and other like Central African languages, in order to search for better pronunciations of these terms, it's probably pronounced more like like Rachunu. Rachunu. Sounds a little more African per se, doesn't it? Rather than Rechinu. Okay? So, let's go here. Just give you a little visual. Okay. All right, here, this is the African continent here. This area here is what they will call, what the Greeks call Phoenicia. This area here, all right, on the coastal. In Kemet, they called it Rachunu, okay? All right. So I encourage you to look up the Marna letters. Any questions? How are we on time? Okay, that's only, all right, good. All right, now,
Question,
yep.
the word nomad. Is it, denotative or connotative?
The word itself?
Nomad, is it the original word, is the real word, is the meaning, is the real meaning?
Well, that is probably the best description you can give of it. Because a nomad is, again, will be someone who's,
That's not a word that,
who's,
what I'm trying to find out is that's not a word that we give to us, that's not the original meaning, that's what I'm learning in this class.
okay, and that,
It is no denotative.
and that's why, shasu, that's why I gave you the root word, shas, and the determinative glyph that goes with it. Because remember, we're not, this isn't English, okay?
Or another way of saying it is wanderer.
Or a wanderer.
Yeah, because wanderers, you may get the idea more with wanderer, because the person is moving place to place constantly, you know what I'm saying?
So nomad is that denotative, is that the word?
Okay.
It's not connotative. What was the word?
Okay, we can use wanderer. Just use wanderer. 'Cause I don't get too far off track. A wanderer. But this is the glyph right here. Because they're always moving around.
True.
Okay? All right. Now, anyone ever heard of the Queen of Sheba? Oh, okay. All right. Now, came across some research. Now, you have the Sirius star, right? Now, the Sirius star is actually Spadet, okay? Spet star, okay? SPDT, that's the glyphs for it. Now, the one who presided over Spadet is Set, okay? So the star is dealing with feminine energy here, all right? So when you think of the Sirius star, you think of Set. And the Sirius star, when you look, personally, it looks like to me, it blinks red, white, and blue, okay? So United States, red, white, and blue, right? And I've even seen columns, Temple Set, where it has red, white, and blue stripes around it. So you're like, oh, man, that's where I got it from, okay? Red, white, and blue. So if you're wearing an American flag, think about the feminine principle, not the hard masculine thing, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, Asar, and we know that Asar is the husband of Set, okay? Asar presides over Orion, okay? All right, now, I would say the correct term would be Sahu, all right? Sa or Sahu, all right? Now, these two stellar bodies are very important, okay? And these two star systems have a relationship. So the story of Asar, Set, and Heru comes from stellar, okay? And then it trickles down to become legend and mythology, etc. Now it's passed down. However, the difference is through our ancient schools of thought, you didn't manipulate the people and keep that from them. You allowed them to rise in the ranks to get the symbolism. It wasn't used to, control and take people's identity and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So Spadet, Sahut, they have a relationship. Keep that in mind. Now I did see brother, and he did this. He took Sheba. Now, SH, it can be interchangeable with an S, depending on, on the language and how it changes. All right, so P and the B. Okay, so so the brother was saying that that Queen of Sheba is actually the Sheba is actually the Spadet star, and it's an allegory, cosmology again. I said, okay, interesting. All right. Now, as you said before, religion and spirituality is based on sun, moon, stars, nature, the seasons. All right. This is where you see people who may practice our form of spirituality. They call it Wicca. You see them all into nature. That's our stuff. The seasons and sexuality. So people practicing things like tantra, but these are mediums for you to realize the God force. You can use any one or any combination of them. So in Kemet, you have a lunar calendar, stellar calendar, solar calendar. Okay. That's telling you that they're utilizing various systems, but they're allowing them to coincide, and they're taking sciences from inner Africa. Okay, a lot of us will put emphasis on comparing it to biblical and Quranic studies. All right, but that stuff is after. What about things that will happen contemporary with or before Kemet? All right, so when you compare Kemet to other cultures, say in the Congo, all right, Libya, what other countries? Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Sudan, all right, Uganda, and even the land of the Zulu, you will find similarities, even in the language, okay? And in Kemet, you have more so of a superculture, all right? That's why in Kemet, when you look in a dictionary, you find a whole bunch of words for the same thing, all right? Because you have all these people importing from Africa to make one superculture, which is how and why it became so advanced, okay? Now, the Nile, or the Hapi, all right, of course, they're very prominent, and they call it that Kemet is the gift of the Nile. So we'll put a map here. Do you want southern orientation or you want the northern orientation? Pick one. You want a southern orientation?
Like southern fried chicken.
Southern orientation? All right, we'll put both up there. Okay. We'll just do this one real quick. Okay. Okay, this is the northern orientation right here. Europeans. Okay. All right, there you go. Oh, what? Okay, there's India over there. That's why I gotta do it like this. Greece and all that kind of stuff. All right, but you see where it's going, right? Okay, I'm practicing. All right, now, here's the Hapi River. That's the delta. It's breaking off in Ethiopia. And these are the mountains of the moon. So this, to us, this is the top of the world right here, okay? South is up, okay? North is down. East is to the left. West is to the right. The word for south is Rashi, which is another word for up or at the top of. Word for east is yabit, which is the same word for left hand. The word for west, amintet, is the same word for right hand or right side. The word for north, mahet or mahut, is the same word for down or downstream. Pretty simple, right? No? Okay. Had to hit you with that one. All right. Okay, one of the reasons why this orientation is the way it is here from the Kemetic records is because the land elevation of these mountains, of course, is like this. When you go further down north, it goes like this. Ethiopia, Sudan, you can get to Kemet, and then you get to the Great Green Sea, or the Mediterranean Sea, here, which is what's called sea level, and you got mountain ranges, okay? So that's why they'll say upper Kemet is south, lower Kemet is north. So if my origin is here, I'm at the top of the world, this is where I come from, right? And I migrated, we'll just use this one for simplicity. All right. Saudi Arabia. That's smaller there, okay. All right, if my origin is here, I'm at the top of the world, right? Because we know that the oldest bones, fossils are found in this area, all right? The mountain of the moon. So I'm at the top of the world, and I'm migrating here, 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 and going out to the rest of the world. This is my origin. That's the top, okay? That's the bottom. I come from the top, the land of God, right? And come down to mortals, right? So your origin is at the top of the world, or the land of, or the origin of Hapi. Yes, sir.
You're looking from the cosmos down on the earth, right?
No, he's looking from the terrain.
No, from on land.
Terrain.
On land.
Yeah.
If I'm in highlands, okay? Like for example, right now we're above ground level, second floor, and then go down to the bottom. So that's more so. You get what I'm saying? If I come from areas where there's a lot of mountain ranges, to me that's the top of the world because of land elevation. Here, river flows down. Water has to flow down because of gravity. Okay, down to sea level, which is the Great Green Sea. Down to sea level there. Okay? Yes.
Took the continent of Africa and reversed it.
No, I put it the right way.
Oh, this is the right way.
That's the correct
So,
orientation.
Okay. And so, north is really south and south is really north?
No. It's the same. North is still north. All right?
Just in a
It's just when you look on the map. See, the illusion is on the map. The
it's all an illusion.
The illusion is on the map.
You're giving us clarity.
Okay? Again, what Europeans have done, they pretty much reversed everything. They're very opposite of us.
True.
Very. Okay? Because when, just to come back up real quick, during the time of the Moorish empires, all right, we had maritime trade. All up here, all around. Just say the whole world, okay? All the way over to, even over to Japan, okay? Now, we had the highest technology, hands down. However, after 1492, okay, after the Europeans were able to make us fall from power from here, then when they started taking the maps, they said, okay, we're going to take this and we're going to reverse it. We're going to make Europe look bigger than what it is. And and every time we make a map, we're going to put Europe in the center, even though you think, oh, well, Africa in the center. No, they're putting Europe in the center, make Europe look bigger, make the United States look bigger, where in actuality, United States, all of Europe, China, and India can fit inside of Africa. okay? They call that I'm glad you brought that up, the Mercer projection. Is that correct? The Mercer projection, which is the European. Now, you want to look for the Peters projection. Look for Peters projection. That's more accurate, okay? All right, so that's why we have to get back into our stuff. So yeah, at first it does look kind of awkward, all right, but you know, it takes a little time. She'll get it.
Same thing they did with our hair.
Pardon me?
Same thing they did with our hair.
Right.
You wanna fight? Oh, no, what are we gonna beat him up?
All right, go ahead.
Can you, like, okay, you know, like, I was saying south, when you say you're going down south, you're really going
Up.
up north because you're supposed to be going closer to the equator, whatever is closer to the equator, that's like the highest point.
Look at this map.
That's correct.
Hold on, watch this. Watch this.
What you said is correct.
If that's the equator,
Right, so.
and you're looking at it with the southern orientation, then what? Then you're going towards the equator. Then what? What are you doing? You're still going south. It's still called south.
It's going south, but
You're correct.
south
You're
is
correct.
Up.
north.
No. North is still north. No, okay. Here, look. Here. Up, down, left, right. Okay. These are the terms that we're having that are mixing us up because we're associating up with north. We're associating down with south. Okay. Once you correct this orientation, then it'll make it right. So up south, down north. Left is east. Yabit is east. This hand here. This is the land of the rising sun right here. Okay. This is why this side you receive. Right. When you go into esoteric studies, left hand or like a qigong and all that. This side is receiving, or the feminine side. Right side is the masculine side, or giving. So when you look on the walls of Kemet, when you look at a soldier and he's fighting, most of the time you're going to see him with his right side forward. He's like this, right hand, all right? Or even if you see a Nasut, or a king, pharaoh, usually you may see his right hand up, holding the hair of his enemies like this, using the right side, masculine, boom, okay? When they're paying homage or giving dua, okay, to the next year. See this, okay? Right up. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Left hand.
Yeah, you got that.
When you look at the statues, it's like this.
Yeah.
Left foot forward, okay? Side of the heart, side of receiving,
True.
okay? See this, all right? Same science all over. So this side you receive, the blessing, okay? This is the side you give. Okay? Yep. Masculine and feminine. Left side corresponds to the right side of the brain. Right side of the brain is intuitive. This is your feminine side of the brain. Okay? Right hand corresponds to the left side of the brain, which is the masculine, calculating math and all that kind of stuff. Right? This side controls this side of the body. This part of the brain controls this side of the body. Okay? Questions? I can. Okay. Any questions or comments? We have 45 minutes left.
Question, anyone?
Yeah, I will get let me get some of this Muhammad stuff here. Because I've noticed that in our Kemetic studies, a lot of us don't really touch on Islam very much, comparing it with
Christianity, yeah.
with Kemet.
Yeah.
We normally do with Christianity and Judaism.
That's true.
I mean, for the most part, once you get the Old Testament, you pretty much everything else falls into place. Now, I picked this up from a brother putting this out a little more with more clarity. So now remember Hapi, and I'm gonna keep this northern orientation up right here, just for clarity.
Happy means again?
Pardon me?
What's the meaning of happy?
Okay. Hapi is the name of the river. Instead,
Nile, in what language?
the Kemetic language.
Kemet?
The Kemetic language, yes, or the ancient Egyptian language. Okay. All right.
So, question.
Yep.
Hapi, would that be the name of the mountain of the moon also?
No, that's not the name of the mountain itself. Okay.
That's Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro, which itself means mountain of the moon.
True.
Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm not. Is that correct? Kilimanjaro?
Yeah, Kilimanjaro.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a U.
Here?
No, on the end.
Is it you? Sure. Okay. Well, we looked this up. It means mountain of the moon. Now, the funny thing about it is that on the papyrus of Hunefer, in the Kemetic language, the translation for what that moon is, the mountain is the same translation, mountain of the moon. So, in these languages, and all the languages here, they're all calling it the mountain of the moon. Okay? All right, now, mind you that the name of the river is Hapi, or if you would abbreviate it, you could just say Hap. All right? Parentheses, Hapi. Now, Hapi as a nature or divine principle has various principles or aspects within himself. All right? Now, when Hapi floods the southern regions, okay, let's do this. Okay. All right. All right. Can everybody see what this is? This is Kemet. Okay. Oh, that's Kemet, Kush, what they call Sudan, but all that's Kush. Let's keep it there. Now, this is lower Kemet, or northern, okay? The rest of this is the southern, or upper Kemet. Now, when when the waters come from the mountains and they're flooding all in here, when it gets to here, Hapi is referred to as, let me see, okay, Mehet, the southern. Oh, I'm sorry, the north. No, whoops, Rashi. Rashi, remember, means south. Then when it goes to the north, remember, Mehet means north. Write that down, make sure I get the word right. Okay, got it. A term for water in the Kemetic language. Does anybody know? There you go, good. You have mu. You can write it this way. These are ripples of water, mu. Now, when the south is flooded, Hapi is called Mu-Hap. Let's do the south first. Mu-Hap Reshi. Mu-Hap Reshi. Okay, the water of that floods the southern region. Okay? When it floods the north, these are the waters, Mu, Hap, Mehet. Now the brother said, pointed out that this term was corrupted to become Mu, Ha, Med. Okay? Now, here, let's go here. Something that, on that note, that another thing that he pointed out, so still researching. All right, now this term, SLM, of course, is Salam. So it could be, which comes from Shalom, Salim, of course, but I in front of it for a prefix, it's Salam, but the root of it is Salam, SLM, right? Now, brother, it was pointed out, Shadarim, they have a Kemetic, more so of a compound term. Sa, like shrine or sanctuary. All right, now this is the Kemetic language. In Rem, which is actually pronounced Romi or Remi in the Coptic, which means tears. All right, and one of the and some of the legends said that the Kemetu or the Chemiu are descendants from the tears of Ra, or tears of the god, so to speak, right? Now these tears, when they fill up, they start to flood, right? They start to flood the whole earth because Ra, his tears are crying, okay? So it was pointed out that, okay, well, Muhat Mehet brings the life of the tears of Ra to the land. Mind you that when the Nile floods, okay, when it floods outward, it can flood outward to about maybe 500, 600, 700 miles outward, okay? And it brings life, it brings the black mud, the silt, and nourishment from the mountains, okay? So more or less, it's like when Muhammad or Muhat Mehet brought Islam or Shah Remu to all the land.
May I ask, what is the meaning of Muhammad?
One who is praiseworthy, is that correct?
Yes, one is praiseworthy, that's right.
Yep.
What is that?
One who's praiseworthy.
Muhammad.
Muhammad, you know, M-U-H-H-H.
Oh, this term, this is water. Water. Hap is the divine principle of the Nile River, and Mehet or Mahut is north. Okay? These the divine waters that come into the north, that flood the north. When Hapi dwells in the north. And when Hapi dwells in the north, he brings the divine tears, which is the waters, to the people. Okay? Yep.
Excellent. Excellent.
Go ahead, brother.
In Muhammad, you got H-A-M. If you put a K in front of the H-A-M, which is the alternate spelling, that's slang. Waters to the land. Muhammad. K-H-A-M.
In Arabic,
And, yes, K-H-A-M.
so you're talking about an Arabic conjugation of
Yes.
Muhammad, like this?
K-H-A-M.
K-H-A-M?
Now, if you parse it, moon, water, ham, ham.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. All right, yeah.
If you
You-
parse it.
You're talking about ham,
Huh.
okay, which in the Semitic, we're gonna get to that in a second, they soften it and say, huh, ham.
Ham,
Right, got you.
land.
I mean, you can do that. However, yeah. Okay. Here's the thing that I see people do. They'll take Kemetic terms, and they'll like ad lib, without. Let's say, okay, well, if something is ta ma re, where in the glyphs or in the records do you see that? See, this aspect of happy, you can find this in the record. Just look it up.
I get it from York.
You know what I'm saying? All right, let's do this real quick. Now, if you want to use time array, that's fine. Do your thing. I mean, it's still time array, still our words. Do what you want, but it has to be made clear that that's something that you're doing now. That's not what happened back then.
Ancient connection.
Right. To say this is what we're formulating for ourselves now. Okay. Here, Ta, Mary. Okay. Ta and Marie. Pardon me?
Yeah, that's what I do. Put the top on it.
All right. Ta Marie, not Mara is not in there. Like son, the word son is not in there. This is what's on the record. So,
That's what I named my daughter.
Hmm?
That's what I named my daughter.
yeah. So it's Ta-Marie, not Ta-Ma-Re. That's not there. Okay? Marie is the term.
That's the name of Mary?
Hmm?
Yeah, well, that's where you get married from.
That's what we get the term in. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Now, Osset, right? Are you familiar with the story of Osset and Heru? Okay, so when Osset, when she mourns, actually, okay, think about a person crying. When they may have more of a dramatic reaction, people, they do like this, right? Or they do like that, right? Which is natural. So you can find a statue of Osset like this. I'll go straight. Like this. All right? That's her aspect, and she's called Osset Mary. Osset the beloved. Okay? Christians, the Romans took it and said Mary. They just dropped the Osset, and you know all the aspects of Mary, mother of God,
Yeah.
is Osset.
Mary, yeah.
Okay? Osset Mary.
Yeah.
So, and the term Mary means what?
It's
Beloved
a-
anyway.
yeah.
It means beloved anyway, right? Okay. It means beloved, the word Mary.
Yeah.
Beloved.
Love it, yeah.
Okay? Now, mind you that Osset was symbolically a virgin because her husband passed before she gave birth to her, before she was impregnated. Okay? So, of course, the story of the Virgin Mary comes from Osset Mary. Okay? That's how you write it in English. Marie. Let me see. That's how you write it. There you go. Osset Mary. You know, you have Virginia and Maryland's right next to each other. Virgin Mary. There's a little something to think about. That tells you that.
No, there was Masons. No,
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
Masons, brother.
yeah.
So
Sticking
you're
there.
correct.
Yeah.
Virginia.
Virginia and Maryland.
Yeah.
Yep. Right next to each other.
Yeah, no coincidence.
Oh, and isn't Washington? Watch this. Washington D.C. is right in the middle, with the phallus, right?
But not only that, they call Mary the Catholic state.
It's funny. And they worship Osset too. So right in the middle, they have the Tekken. Okay, it's called a Tekken. It's not an obelisk, Tekken. Well, technically, at the Washington Monument, you can call it an obelisk because it's not a true Tekken. A true Tekken is cut from one slab of rock out of the mountain, and they lift it up. There, they stack blocks on it. It's not a true Tekken. So, all right. Okay. Any comments before we keep going? That's funny. Showing blanks.
So what you're showing, Senjedi, here, is you can see the birth of our Kemetic history in Masonry in the States, and also you can see it in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. That's basically what you see.
Exactly. All right. We just kind of freestyle. We're going to freestyle right now. Point some other stuff out for you. Let's take care of this Semitic thing real quick. All right. Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? Now, Ham has a son named Canaan, right? Shem, Japheth, we'll just do Europe, okay? So we ain't gotta worry about him. All right. Now, Ham, Canaan, who else? Doesn't Cush come out of here somewhere?
Yeah, Kush,
Um,
Mizraim,
Mizraim,
yeah.
right? Which is
Put.
Kemet,
And
which is
put.
Kemet.
Put.
We got Put in there, right?
Yeah.
All right, now, problem. How is, why is it that they say that Kemet, Ethiopia, and all that are Semitic languages when they don't come from Shem, they come from Ham? They're not Semitic languages. So Amharic and all that stuff is not Semitic. Okay, the Cushitic languages are not Semitic languages. Okay? See, what's happening here is, let's just go here again. All right. Now, all this comes from, well, shoot, the whole thing. They say it comes from Ham, right? Shem is supposed to be, you know, all up in here, right? Somewhere up in here. Japheth is up in here, all up in here, right? So if all this is Ham, how can they be Semitic? All right. Again, this is Europeans. Yeah, this market is really going up. Yeah. This is again Europeans trying to bring high civilizations closer to them. Okay. Don't be fooled. Genesis chapter 10, it gives you genealogy. If anybody wants to look this up, Genesis chapter 10. All right. Genesis chapter 10. We give the whole lineage. Okay? Now. Come on in, come on in. All right, so hopefully that kind of takes care of the whole Semitic thing. All right. Now, Phoenician alphabet. Okay. Yeah, there's a glyph here. All right. This is, let me give an example. Where this glyph is used. This term Kemet. This is Kemet. All right. Or Kumt. All right. Thank you, brother. All right. In fact, I'm gonna stick this in my pocket right here to let it. All right. Can everybody see that? Oh. How's that? All right.
Keep the cap on.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, charge out fast.
All right.
Because I had alcohol, so.
All right.
Beverage.
Kemet. Here's a chem, M and a T. Okay? Kemet. This determinative, which is a sign that tells you tells you what the word is talking about. All right? The determinative for a city or a country or a town. Okay? Now, so you can't really see on that. All right, let's do this here. This is Kemet here. Go over here. All right. Here, these people here, from the region of the Rechenu or Canaan or Phoenicia, all right, was also a colony of Kemet many times, on and off. Now, when they started learning how to write, okay, yep, all right, and started trying to create their own system, they borrowed many of the glyphs to use it for their own system, all right, which became known as the Phoenician alphabet, okay? This here, they used it, I think this is an H, let's see, or a tap, yeah, kind of like a T sound, death. It's part of the Phoenician alphabet, okay? And let's give you another one. Here's one, cough. Cough, which is excuse me, comes from the Phoenician alphabet, later becomes a K. All right. Another one that I found, something else I found interesting. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but now, this is an M, and this is an owl. This comes from the glyphs, all right? It's an M. Now, when you write it formally on the carving on the wall, it'll look exactly like an owl. But when you handwrite something, you start to shorthand things, because you're writing, you gotta write fast. If you're writing documents, you can't sit there and take a whole week just to write something out. So you need to write it with a reed brush. So you find ways of shorthand. So you have another form, they call it hieratic hieratic. All right. The Matic is a later form. Oops. Better term would be Sessionisha, which means document writing. Now, when you get to this stage, that's how it's handwritten, the owl. But, you know, I asked myself, well, how did you get that from that? And I was, okay, what they did was they traced the outside, okay? They just took the side and just traced it. And then, so this is the side of the owl. See, that's like the ear on the side? Okay. So, not even copy, this is before it. This is on papyrus.
Yeah, true, but I'm saying, I can see the morphing of it
Uh-huh.
to Coptic and Greek.
Uh-huh. Now, let me see, find the, oh, here's Phoenician. Let me give it Phoenician. It comes after or during. That's a Phoenician, all right? Yeah, that's a Phoenician. The name of that letter is Mem. That's Phoenician. Go over. I said, oh, now I see where letter M comes from. You take it and you kind of turn it to the side and you do this, then it becomes that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Break it down, bro. Break it down.
That's just some examples. Nun. Let's see. Now, another Phoenician letter. Right here, let's start with the Kemetic. All right, this is an N, okay? The N sound. All right? Oh, yeah. Hey, already you can kind of see the
You
morpho.
can see the morphology, yeah.
Okay, there's the N. Now, Phoenician, let me see, where you at? Oh, okay. That's the Phoenician. Okay? And of course, you can see the morphing
Yeah,
to become that.
yeah.
It comes from this, even though, see N, and then, yep, this is called Nun,
Yeah.
and then you say N, yes.
Wasn't that for water?
Yes, this is a water, yes. But, I wouldn't doubt it. As far as the shape, not the sound, but the shape. 'Cause, yeah, W does.
True.
Why do I call it W anyway? I know. That's- Yeah, why isn't it double V? Yeah, this is double V, and that's a W.
There you go.
But, you know,
Because it wasn't no D in the,
some of the earlier languages would just say that. You know, because see, watch this. And for some reason, I'm thinking that it does stuff for Kemet because quail chick, all right, is the U or the U sound. Okay? So it's like either you can put a U or a W. So really, you don't really need that. It's just that. Woo, woo, or wah. Okay? How y'all feel about that? So, you know, this is so, I just came across that and then kind of put my thoughts together and figured that one out. Any questions? Here's something else I looked at. And I think they took the shape more so. All right, this is like a Y or an I. Sometimes it can be used as an A. Okay. Now in Arabic, isn't that like a, what is that in Arabic? Aleph. All right. Now in we can erase that. We can just go to here, Medu Nature. Here comes over when you write in hieratic or demotic, you do that. Later on, then, you know, they do that in Arabic. And so I'm like, okay, that's where we got it from. All right? The reed leaf. So really, that's a reed leaf.
True.
Okay?
And then they took this left the stem.
Yeah, pretty much.
Read off and left the stem.
Uh-huh. Oh, here's something else. Here's a Phoenician letter. Beth. Oh, no, let's start with the Kemetic. What does that look like? Let's say a leg with a foot, okay? This is for the B sound, okay? That's the B sound. That's the hieroglyph. Go to Phoenician, okay? I'll put the font for there. See if I remember right. Boom, 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 boom. You see? Yep. Yep, that's the Phoenician. The letter is called Beth. Okay? So, okay, they just took it to turn upside down. Okay? Of course, that's where we get our B from. So really, the B is a leg with a foot. Okay? Here's another one. Here's a biliteral. This here is de, or D, which means to give. Okay? De. Sometimes you'll see it with a hand. This is a cone. This is like a bread cone. All right? Let me put this on the side so I remember. All right, bread cone. Sometimes it's written this way. Remember, it's a D sound, right? Well, this is Deleth. This is the Phoenician. Deleth, I think it is. Deleth?
Yeah.
Then, yep, and then
Or
da.
yeah.
We just do that.
Yeah.
So they took that and used that for the same sound, carried it over. There you have it. So that's Phoenician. The Arabic doesn't really look like this on point. Anyway, yep. So those are a few examples. Has anyone ever seen a video? How are we on time? A law found in the Temple of Ptah. You seen it? Anyone ever heard of it? People just say, "Wow, we found a law in the Temple of Ptah. It's written on hieroglyphs." Right? Let me see if I go off. Just kind of go off my memory here. It's written this way. All right. You can go on YouTube. It's on the YouTube. Brother, I don't know how he did this, but he was saying this is Alif, something, Alif, Lam, Min, Hasaf, something. He said it comes from this. But I'm like, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. Well, this glyph means to give. It has nothing to do with, the term Allah. Okay? Now, last semester, we broke down the law where it comes from, like the Eye of Heru, et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't have anything to do with that. This is, you show a king giving reverence to Ptah, the architect of the universe, not, so this means to give. So if you want to look that up, a law found in Egypt. Give, and this is a hand, that's an arm, and a hand holding the bread cone. Okay. A bread cone. Yep. Because what's that term? Break bread. When you invite someone to your home, you're supposed to offer them food, and that is a problem. That is many African cultures and people that I've known personally. When you come in and saying, eat, and always make bread, injera bread from Ethiopia, bread loaves, etc. Break bread.
Well, when you say your bread's over your food, your daily bread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Bread is a staple. So we did the Semitic thing. What else? What else we got? What kind of thoughts do you have? Any questions on Kemetic, why, what, where, who? What's the chronology? What names of kings? What they did?
Yeah, I like the part where you did to Muhammad.
Right.
How'd
Okay.
you do that? Could you run that one more time?
Okay. All right.
Too much detail.
All right. The term for water is mu. Here's the glyphs for it. Okay, mu, water. Mu. Now, the nature or the principle is ha. Okay, instead of saying now, it's the Hap or Hapi. Now, when Hapi floods the northern region, he is in his aspect as Hap Mehut. Okay? The flood waters coming into the north. Now, this aspect you can actually find when you research. You can actually find that. So, you know, it's not an ad lib. Somebody snap something together. Okay. Muhap Mehut. All right, and it was claimed. And again, you know, like I'm still doing research myself, but just showing you what people are doing, and the research that's out there. You know, I'm not saying it's 100% correct. All right, but it seems like a pretty plausible argument. And it's claimed that later on, when the religion was being formed, or maybe directly prior to, it was corrupted into become Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad, Muhammad. Okay, and again, yeah. All right, and then this term Sa-Remi or Romu. Again, in the R, remember in, I don't even want to call it Semitic languages no more.
Hey, that's all right, though.
Okay.
Always.
R and L, when it goes into, say, Arabic, Aramaic, except I don't know if there's really Hebrew language, but, you know, this R becomes L, okay? So he's saying, it's been claimed that the Sa, which is true, Sa is a term for sanctuary or shrine, and in Rome or Remi or Romu means like tears, divine tears, okay? I think it's probably pronounced Rum, short for Rumetu, which means people, which is another term for Kemites. So Hapi, the Netcher, he brings the divine waters when he floods the north. So Muhat Mehet brings Shah Rimi to all the people, to nourish all the people. So, I mean, it seems pretty plausible, even though personally, when I did some of the research, I came across this term. Sharome, put this here. That's a man. He's doing this. Right there. Shah. That's the A. That's the R. M. A. Sharome. And remember the temple. The stela of Merneptah that we told you about earlier. In the beginning, the way this term was used, it was not used in the religious sense. It was used in the sense of begging for mercy, because the Western Asiatics who attempted to invade got beat down. Okay. So when Merneptah stood before them, they all got down and said Shalom, or Salim, or Shalom. Okay. So the term Salam was not used in the sense of religion. It was used like, okay,
Sense of mercy.
yeah, suing for mercy, okay, which is, they got what they deserved, okay? So, in real sense, it was showing me peace, like, oh, chill, okay? And which is why you have this glyph here, because, you know, remember when you was little, somebody's trying to mess with you, you're like, yo, chill. First thing to do is put your hands up. All right, this is a natural response, so that's why that glyph is there, okay? You see how the natural connection with this language, with reality. So, any questions? Yeah, you know what? I'm still doing research on Bilal. Who asked the question? I didn't.
No.
All right, what I did come across is that let me see, Bilal. I'm not going to give you a total breakdown because I'm still researching it. But Bilal is connected to Set, not in the bad sense. Because remember, Set comes from the south. And before Heru, Set was prominent. Because remember, in the story, Set is his uncle, right? So in order of lineage, who will come first? Set, okay? So when you go to the southern regions, like Tasedi, Kush, Sudan, Set was prominent, or Sutuk, all right? Sutuk also represents the southern hemisphere of the sky, okay? Because again, it's astrological, all right? Now, Set rules the south, right? The southern. Now, Bilal comes from where? Ethiopia.
Sudan, yeah.
Ethiopia, right?
Yeah.
It comes from the south.
Sure.
Now, Bilal, I seen the breakdown that Bilal, you have that, Baal. Baal, put another element, okay? Baal is the Phoenician aspect of Set, okay? So what I remember is Bilal, or Baal, El, being connected with Set. In the astrological sense, see, during the dynastic period, Set became bad because of, socio-political arenas. But when you go into straight astrological, you don't have this evil. You're dealing with straight symbolisms, okay? So the southern hemisphere of the sky is Set. And Bilal comes from the south, Kush. Okay?
One more, Quran.
Of the Quran, I don't have a breakdown for that one. That'd be interesting to learn with that one. But yeah, I'm still, doing research on this. Go ahead.
You know the breakdown for the tutelary deities of Wajet and Nekabet?
Say it again. The
tutelary deities, Wajet and
the
Nekabet.
tutelary. Yeah, here. Okay. What's the question about them? I mean, I can write them down for you.
Not too much like explanation that I can give you.
Well, Wajet and Nekbet. Okay. You picked that from around the Fort Alma, right? Okay. All right. Wajit. Let me see, as a Wajit. Wajit and Nekbet. That now Wajit is always depicted as a serpentine goddess per se. Nekbet. I'll just write this real quick. Nekbet is either a vulture or a snake. Okay. They have, now you're right, they do represent the psychic abilities because you see them depicted here on the crown. All right, where the third eye is. They're also called the two ladies, okay, because you have various names of the king. You have a Sa-Ra name, which is the birth name. In fact, here, I'm gonna use Ramesu, or Ramses the Great, for example. Here. Iti Usa Ma'at-Ra. Feather on the head. Give me 1 second. I'm going as fast as I can for you. Okay. Smile. Ra. So, Ramesu. I'll just do it this way. It's simple. Okay. All right. Now, it's typical breakdown. You have the Nesut, Biti, okay? Nesut Biti All right, means king of the south and the north. Mind you that south is always placed first, okay? The south is primary, okay? Write this one, write this one, okay. South is primary. So king of the south and the north. This is a sedge plant, and that's a bee, okay? And the term biti means bee. So I'm quite sure that the term bee comes out of biti. Okay, correct. Geographically, yes. No, geographically. Yes, yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Both. All right. I'm gonna break that pharaoh down for you. I'm gonna get to that real quick for you. All right. King of the south and the north. Usa Ma'at Ra, Satepin Ra, Sa Ra, Ra Mesu Mary Amun. All right. The strong justice. This is Ma'at right here. See the feather on the head? That's her. Ma'at, order, cosmos. Usa meaning power. Okay, the power and justice of Ra, or of the light. Satepin Ra, Satepin means like this is chosen. Okay. Satepin Ra, Sa Ra, the son or born of Ra, or born of the son, okay, or the son of God. There's your Jesus thing right there. All right, and you have the son, Sa Ra. Then you have Ra. This is, here, let me illustrate this. What he has on it, this is like a hawk. Okay. It's a snake right there. That's what that is. That's Ra, the snake around. Ra Mesu. Write this one. Okay. Ra Mesu. There's the Mary again. Mary Amun. Ra Mesu, born of Ra, or born of the sun. Mary Amun, beloved of Amun. Okay. Now, this is coronation. So it's kind of like Barack Obama. Once he takes the oath and everything, now he's President Barack Obama. He has a name now, President. When the king becomes inaugurated, he gets this name. Okay, this is the name he's born with, the son of Ra. Because when you are during the gestation period, when you're born out of the womb, right? One of the words for a child is ki, which is also another word for the son born. Okay? So every person that's born is a Sa-Ra or Sa'it Ra. Like you would be a Sa'it Ra, daughter of Ra. Okay? Sa-Ra. Every person that's born of the light. Okay? Inherently. So this name you're born with on prior coronation. And then after doing more deeds and he may be conquering, he may be building and accomplishing things, he receives more names. One of those names would be a two ladies' name. A two ladies' name where he gets a name under Wajid and Nekbet. Okay? And you see the Haru name, various titles. Okay? There's 5 of them. Okay? So just like he receives these names, then he receives a two ladies' name. Okay? Oh, Pharaoh, real quick. The term Pharaoh comes from the term Pra. Okay, Per-Ah, which means great house. Okay. This glyph here is kind of like as you can see, it's an enclosure. So think about like a compound, large stone gate inside. That's like enclosure. Okay. This term, from from looking at the king's list, even though it is a Kemetic term, but it wasn't applied to a title of a king until the Persians got there in, what's that, 664 BC. Okay, Persians, which is why personally, I don't use it. But again, it is a Kemetic term, but it wasn't applied until the Persians got there, 664 BC. Xerxes, Darius, and all of them. So when you look at the Shinwa, Shinu, not a cartouche, okay? We look at the Shinu or Shinwa, you'll see that in front of it. Like, you may not see Nasu Bidi, you may see Per-Ah, some of the Persians. But someone like Usama'ra, Satepamra, Ramesu Mary Amun, him, Manapata, Amenhotep III, fourth, all of them, many mental hoteps, they never used that. Persians used it. Okay?
So basically what you're saying is that when you see those glyphs, that was an era when the Persians was there.
Right. Okay. Now, again, this word, it was used, if you look in the Old Testament, you see the term Pharaoh was used. So since that term Pharaoh was always used, you can tell what time period they were writing from. Okay? They didn't start doing it until after the Persians. Where did the Persians come from? Western Asia. They're coming in, bringing in foreigners. Okay?
So that's excellent, Senjedi, because what I'm hearing from you in decoding or removing the connotation from biblical scriptures, especially Old Testament, when they say the Pharaoh Ramesses, that would be incorrect.
Because
That means you're talking about the Kemetic and the Persians. And you're infusing the two as though they was both together when you know there was a war between the two. So I see.
So the term, the general term for king was Nasu, okay, or Nasu, because in Nasu is telling you that the sovereignty is coming from the south. Okay, you can't be, watch this, you can't be a Biti and be rule over everything over the north. You have to be, you're either a Nasu or a Nasu Biti.
B kingdom.
Okay? No, the suit plant. Okay? This is where your sovereignty comes from. Okay, if you're going to rule Kemet. Of course, when foreigners come in, they start saying, well, I want the title too. I want it too. I want to be the man. I want everlasting life and all that stuff. So that's the better term, not Pharaoh. Okay? What else? Yeah. Okay, Alexander, real quick. Alexander, the Macedonian, he comes in 325, and he dies 323, you think. Okay. So this is, I'm just putting them all together. Greeks, Europeans, okay? Not here. See, this is,
It's at the end, yeah.
see, Alexander comes in at 325 after he defeats the Persians. Alexander didn't defeat Kemet. He defeated Persians. Okay, the Persians when they get there here, which brings the close to the 25th dynasty. Okay, who were the Kashiyu or Kushites. All right, and Kemet was a part of the Kushite Empire. Okay, it wasn't just one, whole empire, part of Kush. Once the Persians were able to take over here, then so from here to here, these people raped, pillaged, probably like the most godforsaken things you can probably imagine. Because Kemet, they said, if they prayed to the Most High, if you can't send us a savior, send us a conqueror who's more merciful. Like, that's bad. Basically saying, okay, well, if you can't send me somebody who's going to stop raping me, send me somebody that's just going to punch me in the face. I'll take that. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the situation. Okay. So when he defeated, when you look in the movie, Alexander defeated Persians. Okay. That's when he comes in. Now after he dies, then his generals take the various parts of the empire. the man named Ptolemy Soter takes over, and in Kemet, he takes that. Now, here's the problem. You know how Europeans always like to ad lib or and bootleg stuff? Like, they've always been that way, okay? See, he comes up and says, all right, he says, okay, make me a god, all right? You know, the priest, you look, I'm like, you're a white boy, come on, no. Okay, you ain't, like, you come from, the, yeah, Ayunu, or Ionia, as they call it, Ionians. The Kemetic term Ayunu, Ionia, which are Greeks, you know, in the Hebrew that they'll have a similar term in Hebrew. Ionia, Ayunu. That's the Kemetic term for the Greeks. All right, and it has, you know, this foreign stuff, glyphs for them. Okay, and they were also, mind you, part of the coalition of people who tried to invade Kemet and got beat. Okay, so finally, after Alexander, they're getting hyped. Like, oh man, you know, we can finally get in there after trying for almost 1,000 years. So he says, make me a king. He's like, no. So what he does, he kills him. You know, looks on the summer priest. So what are you going to do? All right. Now, these are Uncle Tom's. Okay? Uncle Tom's. And they say, okay, well, you know, we'll go do the coronation for you as long as I keep my chariots. Okay? So those were the Negroes. So they did the coronation for him and all that, and then he's all hyped. However, mind you, the Greeks could not read Medu Neter. Okay? Because when the scribes were putting the glyphs, you know, about their reign and all that kind of stuff, when you have this, the Shinwa, you're supposed to put a name in there, right? Like we wrote before, put all the stuff in there. They didn't write the names in there. So I'm like, you know, if the Greeks were so smart and you have knowledge and y'all could have read that stuff, you would have known that your name wasn't in there.
Not on the roster.
like you can look on the wall. I'm like, how did you miss that? Okay, they didn't write because they're telling. Because see, when you put a circle around, let's do this. Watch this. Here's some quick science for you. All right, don't get spooked out. See that? The circle is protection. Okay, so somebody puts that outside of your door, you know, like a friend of yours or something, and you going through something, they put that, don't get scared, because they try to protect you. Okay? When you encircle something, you're protecting it. Here's a quick example. Everybody see that? What's that movie? Sankofa. Remember Sankofa? Right. All right. Remember when I can't remember his name. But anyway, brother, he was on top of the hill, right? No. Someone, one of the ladies, she was dying or something like that. He was on top of the hill. Then all the slaves, okay, ran up and they had the knives and they stood in a circle around her. What is that? Protection. That's science. Protection. Protecting from things on the outside. This is a circle. They just elongated it. So when you put someone's name inside, you're protecting them. Okay? They didn't write their name in there. Because then I'm not protecting you. Okay? But they couldn't read it. So, you know, to kind of put a cap on things, all their Greek philosophers, Plato, Pythagoras, and all them, like, they don't get no credit at all. First of all, they didn't know how to read Medu Neter. Because if you know how to read Medu Neter, they would have broke some stuff down and all that stuff. They didn't have that knowledge, okay? Pythagoras was a coward. You know why? Because he didn't have enough courage to get to the third degree. He got his first, got second. He's like, you know what? I can't even handle it, buddy. All right? In fact, let me tell you about Pythagoras real quick. He came in during the time of at the end of Kemetic history, of the dynastic period. All right? Under, let me see, Amos the second. He came in under him, and things were so bad, he had to get mercenaries from Greece to help him out, Spartans and all that kind of stuff. And this is, you know, after first Persian invasion and all that. Now, Best Pythagoras was a diligent student, so Amos said, okay, well, I'm gonna give you a pass. He taught the priest, sent the letter to the priest, yo, go ahead and initiate him. They're like, no, I ain't initiating him. You crazy? He like, initiate him. He said, all right. So he went, you know, in some of the southern regions, they give him a test. They said, okay, stand here, dig a hole, we'll be back. Okay? So he's sitting there digging a hole, fill the hole, dig a hole, fill the hole, you know, and they're trying to make him give up. Okay? It keeps happening, he's sending through all this stupid stuff. And he's like, all right, no, go ahead and initiate it. So they take him through a couple of things, and he doesn't have the courage to go to the third degree. There you go. So he got like, you know, 1% of half or something. Because see, in Kemetic system, you have to learn metal nature first. You start as a 5-year-old. These Greeks are coming in as grown men. They're not even circumcised. Okay? So he doesn't know metal nature, so he can't break down the symbolisms. All right? So there's no Pythagorean theorem. Plato's not the man. Aristotle's not the man. Okay? They're just taking our science and just like watering it down. Okay? Oh, one more thing. This symbol here. Again, it's not an evil symbol. 5-point star, symbol of a female, and protection.
Say it again.
Symbol of
Please say
protection.
it again.
Here, let's do this. Watch this. I don't know if you want to stop taping. You can if you want to. All right.
Yeah. That's right.
All right.
That's right.
So that's protection, right? Doesn't this look familiar? What building does that look like? Pentagon, right? Isn't that the center of the protection of the country?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. There you go. Let's erase that.
Now don't race it, brother.
All right. All right.
Hello, brother. Let me close out here. Give the brother another round of applause. As I always say, I speak this topic, other topics on the telephone, in front of CIA, FBI, at the airport. I have no problems at all because our country has been overthrown. There's no way that we can overthrow our country, that which has already been overthrown. The European colonists has overthrown our country, all right? Noah Ali was charged for attempting to overthrow the country. That's a lie, 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 all right? The European occupiers, and I said this in front of CIA agents, I said it in front of FBI agents, Homeland Security at the Philadelphia airport, all right? So we will speak our truth in public. We will not be afraid of the European colonists. All right? No way. No way. Never. All right? So I'm going to close out. I'll see you next week. Brother Kemet to you will be here
All right, y'all.
for part 4 of Etymology.